Hello, hello, hello to all the beautiful people out there. Much love to you on this wonderful, wonderful Monday, which is October 31st, 2022. I hope you can see me out there. It looks a little dark right now. Let me see if I can open up this window just a little bit, put a little light on the situation. That's just a tad bit more. I'll wait for some people to roll on in as they do. Let me make a few announcements for you. Um, First and foremost, uh-uh, on November 5th, that's this Saturday. If you're in the Los Angeles area, if you live in LA or you're in the surrounding cities, and you want something to do and be surrounded by some really crazy people in the best way possible, some really crazy people in the best way possible, loving folks sitting around talking about sex, astrology, pleasure principles. I'm looking to head up this talk slash workshop slash event at Soul Supreme Studio in a way in which we can empower ourselves, empower ourselves to know, according to our astrological chart and particular makeups in the sky, what's our pleasure principles, what's our pleasure spots, what are the things that we're negating, what are the things that we are sexually and sensually repressing, so we can pay attention to. You know how your girl do. You know how I do. Like, we just can't talk about the funny, funny, although we will in regards to sex and astrology and all. But I want to go into the deep healing of the thing. I want to see exactly what needs to make you tick, what you've been holding back from, what you should celebrate and feel liberated in when it comes to your sexuality, your pleasure principles, and sex on a whole, and your body. Like, that's so far outside of just sex. Your body is its whole temple that needs communication, and that needs to be reacted upon, or it should have a reaction, and it forces some type of reaction to it. I don't know what I said, but y'all know what I mean. The body is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we want to get on into that thing. All right. This Saturday at Soul Supreme Studio here in Los Angeles on Slauson Boulevard between La Brea and Crenshaw. All right, come on through, please and very please. The link is down in the description box below. A few people missed the description box. If you're on your phone sometimes and you're watching this on your phone, sometimes you can miss that box, right? If you're on your computer, it's kind of easy. It's kind of located right below the video, right below my face. So make sure you check it out, click the link, and get your tickets. To be truthful with you, it's filling up quickly. And the studio, the space, the boutique is not that big. So to be honest with you, get on that thing so you can have a spot. I love to see you there and give you a nice little squeeze. All right, who's in the spot? Who's in the place to be? Sweet Tea is here. Carmacita is here. Angie is here. What's up, Vaughn? What's going on, D King and Danielle? Hello, Sweet Taurus. Tracy Jackson is here. Bijou, Bijou. Dr. Locks, what up, fam? What's going on? Simone and Kay Lorman is here. I don't know if I said your name, but I'm going to say it again. LB, what happening? What's going on, Giselle? Cute little Cancer lady. I miss you so much, and I'm so glad that y'all tuned in today. Thank you for sharing all the videos. Thank you for tuning into the Eclipse workshop, which is the video prior to this one. If you missed that thing, you should get down on it, because the eclipse vibration is still being felt. We're in between, what was that? October 23rd was the new moon eclipse. No, that's a lie. The October 25th was the new moon eclipse, and then the full moon eclipse is on the 8th of November. So we're still feeling that thing in between, you know what I mean? And feeling the changes that are going on. So go to the video prior to this one. If you'd like to leave your girl a donation, go on and do that thing. Or just send me some good love and some light and send some people to my page. I'd appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe by clicking the notification bell below this video. I really sound like a YouTuber now. Clicking the notification bell, so hopefully YouTube can let you know when your girl is on, and we can chop it up and talk up astrology every week with this weekly rundown and some little, workshops that come out here and there. Happy that y'all are here. Let's talk about it and what's going down. Again, check out your girl at the Sex and Astrology workshop on Saturday. I think that's the only announcement that I have, to be quite honest with you. Oh, no, no, no. There's some other links that are going to be in the description box too. Y'all know I'm going to Austin, Texas. Do you live in the Austin, Texas area? Do y'all know about AfroTech? It's a wonderful conference that happens every year in regards to Black people in technology and business and entrepreneurship. Your girl has been asked to speak on two platforms during that conference, once on the 12th of November and another on the 14th of November. So hopefully you can come through and visit, hear what we have to say, and take part in the wonderful marketplace that they're going to have. Blavity.org is featuring their first ever marketplace with over 60 different Black and brown vendors, all hailing out of Austin, Texas. There'll be some wonderful musical performances there. Again, loads of people to speak and to give you information, inform you, and encourage you, like myself. So hopefully you can come on in. Again, the whatchamacallit, the links are in the description box below. I thank you, Bijou. I appreciate that. Let's get on into this thing. Let's talk about this week. All right. I know y'all may have some questions, concerns. Listen, we're gonna talk about what's happening this week, like I just said, and then I'll connect with Spirit, and like I always do, and ask for some downloads to come on through as well. And then lastly, we'll go ahead and read a couple of people as I spray some rose water. I love rose water, y'all. It just makes me feel alive. And lastly, we'll go and read a few people, their sun, their moon, and their rising charts. I mean, their sun, their moon, and their rising in their particular natal chart very, very quickly. Okie dokie. Hi, Kimberly Sterling. Kimberly, that's the right way of putting it. Let me put some light on the situation. There we go. A girl was feeling a little blind. Today, the moon is in Aquarius. Did you know? Did you know? And happy Halloween for all of those that do celebrate. I do not, like I said on Instagram, only because I'm a little sensitive. I'm more than a little sensitive. I'm incredibly open almost all the time. And Halloween is a day in which I want you all to be really, really careful out there. It is a day to have a lot of fun. There's a whole other twisted story behind this holiday, in which I'm not going to get into. But in regards to you and doing my job and assisting us in energetic vibration, I just want y'all to be careful, because there's oftentimes that portals, a lot of portals get opened up during this particular time, and sometimes they're not the best, right? I believe in integration, and I believe that it's necessary to have the good and the bad, the up and the down, the righteous and the not so righteous. However, some never. It's a whole nother vibration when you elect to walk into that thing, i.e., Halloween. You understand what I mean? You elect to walk into these portals that are opening up from a different space, from a darker space, from a space that has to deal with the other side, and which is not all the way bad, but oftentimes a lot of negative things can slide through these portals when we're trying to celebrate, when we're calling on those that have passed on. You understand what I mean? So just be careful out there. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Yes, yes, y'all. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Hello? Hello? Are you there? All right. So go on and do that thing. We do know, and have a good time. And again, be safe, because I'm a Cancer and I'm everybody's mama. And I come on like a hard New York mama and be like, what the hell? What the? And then I can come on as a soft New York mama telling y'all to get out there and be careful. All right. Yes, yes, y'all. Thank you for answering and let me know that you heard me. On today, well, I should say yesterday, you do know that Mars went retrograde. Let's tap on into that thing for a little while, because I want y'all to pay attention to all the aspects that have to deal with Mars in this week, right? And there's a few, and it's a big deal. Why? Because this is the first week in which we kind of like are stumbling into this vibration. Always know that whenever any planet goes retrograde, it always takes a good week to 10 days for it to establish its rhythm, whether it's going in retrograde or whether it's going back direct. You understand what I'm saying? So this week is a little tricky because Mars Going retrograde in Gemini is again trying to get its balance, trying to get its footing, trying to figure out what its real purpose is for going retrograde this time. So it's going to bump up against things and get a little irritated and get a little out of sorts before it actually finds its purpose in this season. Get that? So while I read out this week, pay attention to what aspects are being brought up around about Mars. All right. Thank you, Tracy Jackson. I appreciate you, nice student out there. Oh, Sonja, I get so hyped. The New York and me, I really, first of all, Squirrel, I appreciate being around New Yorkers. I appreciate being around East Coasters. This is no dig to anybody that I know and love here on the West Side of life and those that are really close to me that are not from the East Coast. But I will tell you this much. Oftentimes I get around a lot of people, or I'm just having conversations with at least two or three. And there's another New Yorker or another East Coaster in the room, and I can get loud and a little bit crazy. And oftentimes my voice sounds like it's really trying to be intimidating, but it's really not, because I am a softie in heart, to be quite honest with you. But it's always good to have an East Coaster in the room, in the space, because they interpret my volume and my inflections and my expressions a whole nother way than a person from Montana would be like, oh my God, why are you screaming? I'm not screaming. I'm trying to get my point across. I'm just a little hype and gregarious like that with all this Leo in me. All right. I just wanted to take a moment to say that. Oh, by the way, let me take another moment to big up my book. Christmas is coming. Kwanzaa is coming. Y'all want to fill some stockings? The link is in the bio to my book, my very first book, The Signs, an Astrological Memoir by myself. It's only $20, so go to Book Baby. The link is in the down in the description box below, and go on and get that thing for a loved one or for yourself. Grab a couple of copies, and then when I see you, I can sign it. All right. Okay, cool. Let's get started. The moon in Jupiter today, with that moon being in Jupiter, the moon sextile in Jupiter today, because the moon is in Aquarius. So if the moon is in Aquarius, Jupiter is in Aries, because that is a sextile, as we already know, to Jupiter. Express yourself to Aquarius. Express yourself fully. Don't hold back your zest for reality, that air sign stuff, right? Someone needs it. Meaning, express it. Get it out. Whenever the moon, your expression, your feeling, your karmic information, your connection with women, okay? Again, your feelings. Whenever the moon is harmoniously prompted by Jupiter, especially by Jupiter. Even though Jupiter is going reverse right now, it still has more propulsion than a few planets when it's going direct. So Jupiter has a lot of energy regardless. So if Jupiter going direct is hitting up that moon, it's saying, you know what, really fully express yourself. Don't hold back your zest for life, because we need that. We need that thing, especially in Scorpio season. There's a lot of deep thought. There's a lot of deep recollection that's happening. There's a lot of feelings that are being brought up to the table. And every now and again, when you can get a blast of air, a blast of good feeling, a blast of zest and opportunities and some blessings that want to come through, you know what I mean? Some optimism and enthusiasm. Whenever you get that little feeling during Scorpio season, grab that bitch, grab it like a peppermint and pop it in your mouth. Make it really, really, really winter fresh out this motherfucker and feel a little blast of happiness every now and again. Sometimes you got to look for it, y'all. I'm just going to say that. Sometimes you got to locate it like GPS out this motherfucker. The happiness, that is. So today, that is about that. And in an air sign way, in that blast of peppermint feeling, it all includes the intellect. It includes communication. It includes ideas. It includes celebrating not only the weirdo, but kind of being empathetic with the weirdo and building with the weirdo and weird ideas, unique ideas, unconventional places to be and situations to talk about. You understand what I'm saying? It's about that. It's about the community. It's about blasting some, some good air, some good feelings around 2 or 3 or more people. You understand what I mean? Today. Yes, today. Just so you can feel good about starting this week off and knowing that it's a slow down process, but knowing that you got a posse of people, whether it's 2 or 3 or 5, a posse of people that help to keep you light and airy and happy. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that applies to somebody on here. At the same time today, though, the moon in Aquarius is square Mercury. Make sure your zeal, like I was just talking about, that zest for life, doesn't get in the way of the words that you need to say. All right. Also, remember to seek comprehension along with that. Why do I say that? It's because the moon in Aquarius, like I said, sextile in that Jupiter is bringing the happiness, the air, the peppermint, right? That good feeling of intellect, right? However, that moon at the same time, within this day's vibration, is square in Mercury. So it's like, yeah, that zest may come out. However, some never, it may go against the things that you've been thinking. It may go against your boundaries of thought. It may go against, and I say boundaries of thought, like squirrel, maybe you was like, I'm going to tell them X, Y, and Z. And you end up telling them the whole alphabet. Yeah. The bottom line, hold back your tongue when you need to hold back your tongue. Also, remember, as you're speaking, as you may misinterpret, as you may misspeak, as you may miscommunicate, just try to seek some type of comprehension on this day with the moon square and Mercury. Seek some type of information that can help you understand just a little bit further. Maybe you heard them wrong. The moon in Aquarius says, I know, I know, I know, I know. Do you really know? Or do you want them to repeat that again? I think you should say that one more time just before I blast off and shank you real quick. Or just misunderstand what you say and then respond to that misunderstanding. I want to make sure that's clear. So again, make sure you're hearing people clearly before there's some type of disruption when it comes to how you feel versus what it is that you should say or what it is that you heard. You got that? All right, cutie pies. Tomorrow, November 1st, what the heck? The year is gone. Tomorrow, November 1st, the moon will continuously be in Aquarius. But this time, because the sun is in Scorpio and it will reach a degree, the moon will reach a degree that's close to where the sun is, the moon will square the sun tomorrow. The feeling of reality, that's the moon in Aquarius. And that's weird, right? In itself, the feeling of reality. How you feel about a particular thing in order to blast you into a real, organic. The word organic does not have a T in it. Okay, Sonja? Organic, that real organic feel, that authenticity that you love to feel, that feeling may go up against some new standards and some new morals that are being erected from a deep place of reflection. Did y'all hear that? That's a long sentence with about 4 different commas in it. But listen to this. That feeling of needing to be real, the reality of one thing, like you're saying to yourself, I feel like I'm an upstanding person. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel like I know what my standards are. I feel like I know that everything that's cerebral and intellectual that goes through me and the things that I share with other people is right and exact. However, some never, the sun, the ego, being that it's in Scorpio, has been doing some deep diving and coming up with a whole lot of other gems, a whole lot of other deep shit for you to recollect and see what reality really is. It's like, hold on to your feelings real quick and don't get too convicted by them because the sun is bringing up some shit to show you some stuff you missed. Some other morals and standards that you missed, some other deep ass thoughts and wounded spaces within yourself that you missed. That's the real of the real, other than what you think is real. Does that make sense to y'all? Y'all, it seems like y'all driving. Y'all driving, y'all listening. What's going on? Y'all there? All right. So that's the big deal tomorrow. Pay attention to that because when the moon squares the sun in any vibration, I mean by that, when in any energy, in any sign, it's always a little tricky. But know that the moon and the sun being tricky tomorrow is about those fixed signs. So it can be really hard to go back and forth with that. All right, Erica. Thank you, Dr. Locks. Y'all know about Dr. Locks taking care of your natural hair care, specifically your lock situation. Y'all need to check out Dr. Locks, headed up by Shamir, the happy Care Bear. She's very happy in my life. Also, tomorrow, the moon will square Venus. The rebel in our emotional responses want to find value and/or love elsewhere. Now, the emotional responses that we're so tight in believing And I say believe in, going back to that reality of the moon being in Aquarius, now wants to square against Venus in Scorpio. Wait, you went against my ego with the sun, first and foremost. Now you're going against my Venus, my value and shit. Now you're going against my money. Now you're going against things that I love, things that that I've been pumped up in my becoming more secure about. So the real thoughts, the reality thoughts, the genuine thoughts that you may have or you once have that comes up with your feelings. I know it seems like they're two things at once, but when you have the moon in Aquarius, that's what it's about. It's about your feelings in an Aquarius kind of way. That's incredibly detached and all about thought. Moon in Aquarius is not an easy placement to live in when it's transiting and when you have it in your natal chart. It's just not. It's like oil and vinegar sometimes. However, the moon in Aquarius is very, very useful when it comes to business, when it comes to having conversation, when it comes to being detached from your emotions and finding a solution so emotions don't get involved. However, when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to coming together, when it comes to recognize, or I should say, paying attention to your intuition, because the moon has everything to do with intuition, it can be a little tricky sometimes because it's hard to separate that oil and vinegar, you dig? Or I should say it's hard to pull it back together. It's hard to pull it back together and make some sense of how the moon and how the air is riding together. I'm going deep in this lesson today. Ask a question if you need to. So tomorrow with that air in the moon going, I know. I want to be a rebel. It's going to go up against, and I want to be detached, right? Thirdly, it's going to go up against Venus and its value. So my expression needs to be detached about how I feel about my money or how I'm expressing my desires about my money, which can be really, really helpful because you can walk up to somebody's business and go, excuse me, in a detached kind of emotional way. I appreciate working for you, but you owe me about $1,016.23. No, I'm not crying. I'm not going to express myself. I'm not going to get mad. I ain't going to call a popo because I'm emotionally detached right now. But I want my money, Venus, because I know my value. The bottom line, find a way to deliver that thing so they're not clashing. Find a way to respect both that detached emotion and that powerful surge to find your value so they're not clashing. Does that make sense? Boom, chicky, boom, boom. Tomorrow, also, the moon will square Uranus. Ask questions if it doesn't, all right? The moon will square Uranus going backwards. The feeling of knowing it all. Here we go with the moon in Aquarius. The feeling of knowing it all challenges the new individual that's emerging. Listen, please and very please do not fall in the line this week and for the rest of the year. I'm going to be straight up and down of knowing. I'm putting it in a way in which I can add 4 commas to the sentence because I want y'all to really get the the breadth. Is that the right word? I was thinking of the word breadth. What the fuck word is that? Anyway, I want y'all to get the whole full spectrum of what I want to say. Oftentimes when we're going through these incredible changes, whether they be reflections of these tremendous and deep ass eclipses that we're experiencing, or whether it was that Uranus North Node change that was happening. And speaking of Uranus with the moon squaring it, right? These changes that are going down are not easy changes for all of us, y'all. Don't act like you Superman and Superwoman and like you pumping up fucking and you having a good time changing and going in a new direction. Let me tell you something. Looking, if you be bionic like that, let me not take your shine away from you. If you feel bionic, go on and do that thing. However, some never give yourself a chance to slowly and definitely change in the ways that the universe is prepping you to do that. That's why tomorrow when the moon goes up against Uranus and it's going up against Venus and it's going up against the sun, it wants to remind you that you thinking you know it all and you getting slightly afraid because of these challenging aspects tomorrow, you may pull back in a lane in which you've been occupying for years. Oh, I know this worked. I'm just going to do the thing that I did 2 years ago. I know this work. I'm just going to do the things I did last year. No, Uranus is continuously pushing you to do it different, regardless if you think it earned you $1 million. You could get 2 million if you do it different next time. is the point. Do not tomorrow find a way to create your own ceiling based on what it is you think you know. Does that make sense, y'all? Depth and breadth of it. Depth and breadth of it. I love my Virgo people. See, I'm not too crazy. I do have a degree. I want you. I do have a degree. The fullness of it. Yes, LB. Look at these motherfuckers in their goddamn thesauruses and dictionaries out for a girl. Yes. Thank you for helping me out. Tomorrow also, the moon will conjunct Saturn. Put those stubborn ideas for humanity, for the group, for whatever thoughts that you have, intellectual ahas, the moments that you think, oh, I know. Put those stubborn ideas to work. Create a discipline around them, basically. With Saturn in the mix, you know it's always about work, y'all. This is how Saturn always, even though I've told y'all this 107 times on this goddamn YouTube about Saturn, running down its descriptions, this is how it works in order. It shows up your fears, and then it gives you the lesson. And then it asks you to put restrictions and limitations on it. And then it asks you to get whipped in a sense, like whip into shape in regards to what it is you need to do in order to do something different. And then it says, now it's time to go to work. And then Uranus, Saturn says, I will leave you a gift for hard work well done. Did you know that? I had to remind myself to tell y'all this the other day when I had a couple of clients in one day, and there was somebody that I spoke to about Saturn. Saturn is dope like that. As much as y'all may want to run away from Saturn returns, as much as you may want to run away from any Saturn aspects that I speak about or anybody else does, hi Tenjin, any Saturn aspects that anybody might talk about, I want y'all to fall in love with Saturn. Because Saturn will absolutely whip you into shape in which you know is good for you. Because your grandmother and your grandfather keeps whipping you and telling you the same gosh darn thing until you get the lesson too late. Don't. Just don't. If Saturn is whipping you into shape and telling you to work on X, Y, and Z, I mean, get ahead of the game and go to work. Get ahead of the game and go to work. Almost like I should have done, and being in the kitchen, learning how to cook from my grandmother. Getting to work early on. I know this is a weird analogy and example, but that's how I feel. Like early on, when you do the work, you'll be prepared for later. If I was to learn how to cook a little bit, I can cook a little bit, but she can really cook. Well, she did. God bless her soul. If I had to learn how to cook like her, I would be like, heading up a restaurant right now, doing astrology readings in my restaurant. No, I'm just joking. The bottom line is tomorrow, if the moon is conjunct in Saturn and it asks you to get to work on some things that you kind of poo-hooing about, do it now. Do it earlier. Do it sooner than later, so you can bypass that list of how Saturn reacts in our world. Does that make sense? Today, we are trying to tap in, y'all. Today, we are trying to do this thing. When I tell you, I ain't got time for y'all this week. I mean, I do. That's why I'm on here. But to finish the sentence, I ain't got time for no key he's and shit. Because this is about putting your thing in form. This week is about moving forward. This week, to me, the visual, thank you, Spirit, for that. Thank you. God is so good, y'all. This week is like, it's like the movement of a stream. I was told to tell y'all this when I was in the shower, I was laying down. I kept seeing a stream in my head this morning. And you know how in a stream, and not a river, a stream, not a creek, a stream. A stream has a different type of propulsion than a river and then a creek. And of course, a lake and the ocean and all of that, right? That different undercurrent. And then streams often always goes backwards. Like there's a part of the stream that will go up and around this weird ass, beautiful formation of rocks. It'll seem like it's going back 5 steps in order to go forward 3 steps. But how about this? In a stream, it always finds the water. It always finds the lake, the body of water. It always finds the lake. It always finds the ocean, like a river and like a creek as well. But the stream is so steady because it's like that medium kind of flow. Not as heavy as a river and not as light as a creek. It's definitely getting there. And that's where we are, Spirit said. With Mars going retrograde and things backing up and going over this way and that way and reworking how we think and reworking our tools and our modalities in order to wake up Saturn and to tell Saturn we're doing our job, we're going to have to act like this stream, y'all. Does that make sense to you? We're gonna have to act like that stream. So the thing about it is that sometimes you can get plucked by a little bear. Like a salmon plucked out of the stream because it's a little area in which is slow water propulsion and movement, and you just kind of pool up in the area, or you can go straight down the stream. Listen, from now until January 12th, it's all about navigating in these different areas and pools of water in this stream, or whether you're going quick, or whether you have to go back, or whether you have to go forward, whether you have to maybe leave somebody hooked up on a rock fountain or hooked up on a rock formation somewhere. That happens. Maybe they get their dress or their fucking arm caught on something, on a branch or something, and you keep going forward. That may happen, but you'll catch them on the way down. You'll catch them later on. We cannot be emotional, in my opinion, about that. Does that make sense to y'all? I really do my best. It's time to tap in, though, this week, especially on Wednesday, as I was about to say, because the only real aspect, and remember, this has to do with Mars, so pay attention. The only real aspect is that the moon in Aquarius will trine Mars going backwards in Gemini. Yeah. So we need that day to incredibly be detached from our emotions about any areas in our lives that can take us up and down and all around like that stream. Y'all get that? Because if Mars and Gemini is going backwards, right, it's literally going to do that motion. It's going to move like that stream, but it's going to go in all directions because it's Gemini, because it's multiplicity, like, it's multiple like that, but it's also, and it's airy like that, so it wants and loves to go in all of those different directions, and loves to be excited by it. Gemini energy is really interesting like that because it's incredibly non-committal. You understand what I'm saying? So, and when it's in Mars, it's committed to move, so to speak, in these different directions, but it's not committed to finishing anything. And so when it goes backwards, it's committing to moving even more in these sporadic kind of splayed directions, but at the same time, it's even equally not committed. So you have to be very, very careful, is my point, when Mars is going backwards in Gemini, because you have to pay attention to what's important, what's the priority, what is the thing that you should hold on to, what's the thing that you're purposely and outwardly going to be committed to. Otherwise, you can lose all of it. Right? So on Wednesday, there's a moment in which we can snap into our emotions, whether they be detached or not, because the moon is in Aquarius. And detached is always just about sitting back, right? Sitting back and looking at that thing, that emotional situations or solution or whatever comes up. Y'all following me? Thank you, 25 people, for putting your thumbs up here on YouTube. I really, really appreciate that. It makes me happy to know that whatever I'm saying is resonating with you. Thank you for being here. And if you can't reach and press the button, that's okay. But I am saying thank you to the 26 now people that have made the thumbs up, even though 25, 45 people are in here. Come on, y'all, get on the thing and let your sister know that you are enjoying what you're hearing. And if you're not, do the contrary. With respect, in the comments or right now, and let me know something that you're not hearing properly, or you misunderstanding, or if you have any questions, please do that. We're here to teach one another. All right. So on Wednesday, with that moon in Aquarius sitting back all detached, like it's like, yo, look at these many things that you have going on. Gemini Mars going retrograde. I know you're funny as fuck because you got all these things going on, and you're real cute because you're flirtatious with it, and you are a little superficial with it, and you're not attached to any of those things, just like me. But we got to be smart about it. The moon in Aquarius says on Wednesday, we got to sit back and go, okay, again, what are the things that we need? What are the balls that we can drop? What are the things that we're going to make a priority in this motherfucker, so that we don't, just basically poo-poo this whole opportunity of all of these opportunities coming for us, and not having a moment, a day, an hour to figure out what's important and what's not. What can I utilize and what can't I utilize? Does that make sense? 37 people. Thank y'all. Did I bully y'all into putting up the thumbs up? I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me bully y'all. Wednesday is a good day, that hump day, to kind of put all of this shit in perspective of where your energy is. Mars in retrograde. That's what I'm trying to get out there to you. So if you need to write lists, if you need to get in your journal, if you need to speak it out, again, it's air sign driven. Even though we're in Scorpio season, that Mars and the moon coming together, air sign energy that can help cut us through the day like a hot butter knife, you dig? Or we can stay there with that butter knife doing our best arduously to cut that goddamn bread. With a butter knife? Come on now, let's make it happen. I can't do it because I think I know how to do it. Moon in Aquarius. You understand what I mean? The bottom line is find a way to be detached on Wednesday long enough so you know where the fuck you're going. Understand? I like to curse. If you get offended, I apologize. But not really. You just may want to press the button and get on out of here. Sonja is on one today. And look, I'm just drinking this water. That's all I'm drinking. Thursday, the moon will slide into Pisces. Y'all want to cry? Going into that moon in Pisces, though, I think it's a beautiful thing, especially with being in the what season we in? Scorpio season, because Pisces and Scorpio gets together right and nice, like that's for ding dong damn sure. And when Pisces and Scorpio gets together, it's Scorpio's depth. I'm trying to think of another word and make it up. It's Scorpio's depth that's pushing Pisces energy, not only to go deep, but to intuit that needs to come through, to intuit more. I say all that to say is that you may feel incredibly psychic on Thursday, incredibly like in tuned. And when we are used to that, we know how to ground ourselves, right? Hands up, anybody out there? Yes, yes, y'all, who are very, very empathetic, in tune, seers, healers. That when the heightened, when intuition becomes heightened on the planet and in our universe, you can feel it almost immediately, huh? Is that you? And if it's not you, and you kind of getting into that habit of feeling that and tapping in and going there a little bit more, I want you to pay attention to how you feel Wednesday and Thursday. Do you get a little dizzy? You get a little confused out of nowhere? Do you get extra thirsty? And that's a real, as I drink this water, indication that the water is drying up in our body and is disconnecting us from our intuition. We need water to connect to all cosmos, you dig? That's why water signs connect to all cosmos, you dig? So if you're feeling a little dizzy, you feeling a little hairy, you feeling like, I just don't know, I'm a little thirsty, I'm a little dry. What's my name? Like that kind of feel, you losing your memory, so to speak. You feel like you need to be grounded, like you're lifted too much, or like people are saying things and it's kind of going over your head really, really quickly and you can't grasp. Go outside, even if it's cold, put your feet in the dirt. Go outside, hug a tree. You understand what I'm saying? Get grounded, come down. And when you do, and you still remain intuitive and tapped in, receive all the information that you need to receive from spirit and all those on high to know exactly what to do and how to move. That's going to help us utilize that Mars and Gemini going backwards. Yes, especially because it's about to square. With the moon in Pisces, it's about to square up that Mars and Gemini real soon, like I said, right? So you want to be able to, on Wednesday, to get into a space in which you can intuit the things that need to come through. Write it down if you can, put it on a post-it and stick it on your forehead or on the refrigerator for that matter. And remind yourself of the insight that came through on Wednesday. Because as I skip Thursday, I'll go back in a minute. When we go to Friday, when that moon is squaring Mars, you'll forget or get emotional and won't want to connect with that intuitive hit that came through. Oh, that's nothing. You want to rip up the goddamn post-it. Don't do that, because we'll be wide open on Wednesday. All things that come through, especially if you're clear and you speak it in the light of God and you are grounded, is the truth. As that moon goes into Scorpio, moon goes into Pisces. Good God, Sonja. You understand what I mean? All right, let's go to Thursday. Now, we have support on Thursday. The moon will trine Mercury, the moon will trine the sun, the moon will trine Venus, and the moon will sextile Uranus. Damn, I'm good. I'm good to the sense that I didn't even have a notion in my mind that the moon is going into Pisces on Wednesday. It's literally setting us up for a good day on Thursday to not only continuously stay intuitive, but so it can trine our thoughts. It can trine our Mercury. It can trine our communication. So yes, we should write it down. Whatever insights that come through on Wednesday, sliding into Thursday, because Mercury will be activated. Mercury is in Scorpio, so it's like, yo, I'm gonna grab every thought. I'm gonna grab every intuitive thought. I'm gonna grab every conversation and instruction our ancestors and our guides give us. Right? Write it down, implement it, make the plan. Stand. You understand what I mean? More than anything, just make the plan. If you can't do too much with that Mars going retro. On Thursday, the moon will trine the sun. The power and the strength of water. Did I not say that? Leading the way. Is it scary? You should feel assured, is what I put. Like the flow of a stream. What's wrong with me? I actually just reminded myself, and Spirit was reminding me 10 minutes ago that I was going to get to that moment because I wrote it down. Sonja is funny. Yes, the stream analogy coming back. The power and the strength of water leading the way. Don't let it be scary for you because, like that stream, we are still all going in one direction. Boom. I never said a boom with a question mark. Boom. I mean, do you get it? We're all going in the same direction. So what you scared about? Because it doesn't make sense, because it doesn't look the way you want it to look, because it's not practical, because you think you're weak, because it's outing you. I had a moment this weekend, squirrel, not to say it has anything to do with this, but it kind of does, in which old stuff was coming up for me in my head. And I had to say to myself, Sonja, you know what? I love you. I love you. You may not be the best business person out here. You may not be the most aware and astute friend, but I love you. I love you so much. I'm loving all of your imperfections into evolution. I want you to evolve, is what I kept saying to myself, by loving your imperfections and not being upset with you. So on Thursday, this is the thought. The thought is all of this information is coming through to us intuitively, and you may discover some things that possibly maybe you just, like I said last week, it just wasn't right. It goes against your standards. You know, feel a little embarrassed about some things. On Thursday, love yourself through it and come up with a new plan as the moon trines Mercury, okay? Love yourself through it as the moon trines the sun and you find the power in the water and trying to find that stream and getting down there. You know, we're all going in the same direction. Love yourself through it. Please, because the next aspect of the moon trining Venus, if you don't, you won't find the value of where you're going. You won't find the money because Venus deals with money, but bigger than that, you won't find the value, you won't find the worth, you won't get out of these insecurities that have been on you for forever. Squirrel, I'm not trying to stay in my head with these goddamn insecurities that plagued me for the last 20 years. Listen, I'm not embarrassed to say that I've had the same things plaguing me over and over and over in my brain because I know you have too. Thank y'all for the thumbs up once again and 41 people for hanging in with me. Please check out all the things in my description box below this video, okay? I know that you've had some things to plague you. This is the moment in time, man. The more you get out on the table and make yourself look crazy, willingly go, you know what? I'm not the best business person. I said some shit I wasn't supposed to say. I did some things not to hurt anybody, but maybe it's against morals, standard, a sense of control. Oh shit, what she say? That latter thing. Because we're in Scorpio season. And Scorpio season says, yo, I may seem like I'm going on a little squirrel, y'all, but rock with me. Scorpio season says, yo, never let them really see your slip, motherfucker. Like, don't. Don't let them see that you are out of control. But how can you get yourself back in control if you don't let yourself slip out of control sometimes? That's a real fucking question. Somebody want to attempt to answer that? How do you slip out of how can you not be or adjust yourself back in control if you don't allow yourself to slip out of control? So again, with us listening to spirit on Wednesday and that shit opening up wide when the moon goes into Pisces, hooking up with all of these Scorpio planets like, yo, go roll down the stream and be a little bit willing to look out of control and a little crazy as you're going down the stream and digging deeper for that depth of understanding through that Scorpio energy so you can be out of control and snap back in control in a whole new way, in a way in which you can newly respect your gifts and your talents. That's a big freaking deal because you've grown and those same standards and morals don't apply any longer. So you got to get out of control and see, what the fuck did I used to do? Or what am I holding on to? What rules and regulations am I holding on to? Nah, I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let all that go. And it's gonna get a little crickety for one moment until I pull it back all in and I figure out the new rules and regulations that I have to live by. Got it? I know I said a mouthful, y'all, but that's all Thursday. Did I say how that moon trines Venus and it's about the flow of worth and money and all of that? Value, self-worth, insecurities. I did touch upon that. In order for our moon in Pisces to sextile Uranus going backwards to allow us to go down a whole new path, the unconventional path, that Uranus weirdo path. We've been talking about that. Y'all like astrology, like I like astrology. The way all of these things kind of come together like a freaking web, cuz like a web of understanding, of love, and how about this, of some straight intention to make us better and to live this freaking life. Boom. On Friday, here we go. The moon goes into Aries at 7:07, changing up the freaking game. 7:07 at night. So that means all day on and this is the eastern side of life, by the way, if y'all didn't know. So that means all day on Friday we'll still be in that Piscean energy, right? And it will absolutely square Mars that day. Boom. The moon in Pisces will square Mars and Gemini. That's one of the aspects I want y'all to pay attention to, because Thursday flying into Friday, although we had all those good feels going deep and intuiting some things and getting connected and grounded and deep within our soul, on Friday, that moon in Pisces, did I wake up somebody on Friday? Wake up. On Friday, that moon in Pisces will square every situation that wants to take us this way in Gemini. So now I'm pumped up from the inside out because my intuition is fueled and on fire on some water sign shit. Trust in the stream. And now Mars says, oh, fuck that stream. We going this way. Fuck that stream. We got 3, 4, 5 more balls in the air. We going up. We gonna hold on to this thing. It's how you deal with that. When you deal with a square, and I know I said this before, but I really want y'all to pay attention every time I say squares, and I won't be able to say this every single time. You have to be able to deal with squares separately, which means the moon in Pisces has its flavor and its intention and its magic. True indeed. We want to hear from our ancestors and allow us to tell them where the heck we need to go. Allow them to tell us where the heck we need to go. But at the same time, we still have to pay attention to this Mars going crazy in Gemini retrograde, like keeping our head on a swivel and make sure we can hold up 1 or 2 of the balls out of the 10 that we had recently. You understand what I'm saying? And make sure our priorities are straight. So take time to intuit for an hour. Go deep in your meditation for a couple of hours, however long you're going to put that time on it. And then go to that Mars and Gemini execution and those 3 or 4 things that you have left that's actually needs to be revisited, reworked, called on, utilizing different resources, checking them resources, creating new negotiations and contracts around certain things in order to move differently. Are y'all feeling me? Y'all got questions? We almost off of this thing. It's 49 minutes in, but here we go. Let's talk about Friday a little bit more. Again, Mars No, 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 not Mars. The moon will sextile Pluto. Stay in your power. Stay in your power. Stay in your power. Power does not mean motivation. Again, Mars is an outward type of energy. It's a physical energy. It's like 1-2 punch, uppercut, knocking you out. It's anger. It's sex. Again, it's outward. It's passionate like that. Although Venus deals with a lot of passion too, right? Pluto is that. What's that? It's that droning kind of power. You dig? So it's different. Friday, when the moon is sextile in your droning power of Pluto, it allows you to say, or I should say, it asks you to stay in that drone. Feel that propulsion in your body, that swelling, that knows that you are dope, that knows that you are powerful, that knows that life is transforming, that knows you need to hold back your control just a little bit more in your desire and your passion. Okay. Mars is actually doing the thing, executing, put your clothes on, getting dressed, going to the store, going to this meeting, doing that, blah, 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 being angry, punching somebody in the neck. You dig? Stay within your power without having to execute, without having to respond with the anger. Understand that? Just take them deep breaths and know that what it is that you know is what you need to know. And you don't have to control people in what they know with what it is you know. Everybody got their lane and everybody's going to get down the stream the way they need to get down the stream, y'all. Get that? On Friday, also, the moon will, what did I say? Conjunct Jupiter going retrograde too, because at the end of the day, the moon will be in Aries, right? So it's going to conjunct Jupiter in Aries, going retrograde, right? In that day with a happy feel as much as you can. I'm just saying, initiate some ideas by having some good conversation with people. Moon and Jupiter and Aries is like, let's go, let's do a thing. If you're gonna do a thing, and here's the deal: if you're gonna do a thing, but not everything is, I should say this. Start all over. Take two. If you want to do a thing, your motivation is there, but the organization is not, because Mars is retro, right? Because we're still getting the information, right? Because our mind is still being prepared on some level or not, right? The change in us is still being prepared. Well, find a way to activate Mars in any way, through working out, through dancing, through hula hooping, through having some good love making sessions. Goddamn, I wish I had the ladder, a partner for the ladder, but hey, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So I'll be hitting that pool. I'll be hitting that pool, or I'll be walking feverishly around the neighborhood with Mystic. The point of the matter is move your body so it doesn't express itself in anger. That's all I'm gonna say about that thing. On Saturday, the moon is quincunx in Mercury, so know what you need to know the day before that, or else you're gonna get a little confused the day after. You may have an impulse to say some things that irritates you or irritates somebody else. You understand what I mean? Don't do that. Again, it's not about control, but count to 5 on Saturday before you say a thing, before you start irritating people with your words, because then Mars in retrograde will back up that thing, being that it's in Gemini, and Mercury is Gemini's planet, right? If you start off by irritating yourself or somebody else with some misunderstanding and some miswords, the Mars in Gemini will be like, yep, and another thing. It'll take the baton and keep going, even if it's wrong, because that's how Gemini is. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm wrong. I'm going to ride it to the end. It deals and it agrees with its perspective, and its perspective only in the moment until it decides to switch. That's it. On Saturday, Venus will be opposite Uranus. So balance the value of self with the new weirdo that's in you that's developing, right? Same message, different day. The bottom line, find him or her. Find him or her and actually latch on to the fact that these are some good things that I want to establish in my new life, in my new weirdo, in my new purpose, right? At the end of the day, the moon will quincunx the sun. There's another little irritation on that day. Saturday is a little weird like that. The child versus the quiet, what I say? The quiet, mean aunt. Well, because the moon will be, because the sun will be in Scorpio, right? I wouldn't say Scorpio is the mean aunt. But if you ever seen an aunt that's sitting in the corner that really don't talk too much, but everybody feeds her, gives her a plate, or she cracks a joke every now and again, everybody's kind of like walking on pins and needles to not make her upset. That's how I'm utilizing the sun as an analogy on Saturday. It's going to irritate that little baby. That moon in Aries that just wants to run around the auntie and get her pissed off because you're making too much noise and I want to hear the TV. Tell that baby to go outside. That kind of thing. Don't allow your juvenile emotions to go against the seriousness of what the sun is bringing that day, the depths of what the sun is bringing that day. And how it may look is that maybe conversations that you have or your presence will come off as heavy and want to deal with some things, and then things will come in and out, and the things that come in and out, they may be emotional, they may be things that you really need to consider or have a conversation about, but you'll act possibly maybe like a brat, possibly maybe like that moon in Aries, and possibly maybe like that little kid who just wants the attention on them, and they're not paying attention to the serious aunt, the sun in Scorpio, that has something to say actually, and that has something to do. Be careful. Cuidado. I'm just saying, don't be irritated. Just stop and listen every now and again, and then take off with your happy feelings of the moon in Aries, your self-centered feelings. That's for sure. On Sunday is daylight savings time. I thought we was going to eradicate daylight savings time. Anybody else hear that? Well, we're supposed to go back an hour on Sunday, so remember that. Push it on back. The moon is going to sextile Saturn, so go to work, prepare yourself as a typical Sunday, what the week is going to be like. The moon will sextile Mars. You see that? See how it jumped? The moon jumped back into Aries. Now it's going to find Mars all over again. There's this up and down, in and out kind of field that Mars wants to play this week. Again, getting its boundaries, its footing to how it needs to go backwards productively, where we started off at the top of this goddamn broadcast 56 minutes ago. The moon will square Pluto. Watch out. That's all I'm going to say. The moon being in Aries, Pluto being in Capricorn. Emotional eruptions can happen that day based on self-centeredness or the need to fight and confront a situation. Really, truly. And it may want to throw somebody off their square, their powerful square, that propulsion, that droning that they feel. That's a bomb waiting to happen. Pick your battles that day. All right? Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions coming up? I'd love to answer them. And I also would love to read one or two people and their sun, their moon, and their rising who I have not read before. Who are you? Let me look through, see if there are any questions here. Thank y'all for being patient. Thank y'all for the 43 thumbs up and the 42 people that are in here. Look at that. I appreciate y'all very much. Again, as we commercial on to the next segment here, please go ahead and get my book if you haven't gotten it already. Kwanzaa and Christmas is coming up. The Signs and Astrological Memoir. It's pretty good, y'all. I'm going to write a second edition really soon because I have some more stories I want to add to it. But get this first edition. You could be the one to say, I got it. After she has like 6, 7 other editions. I got the first one. All right. Let me see who's on here and wants me to read them real quick. Autumn Flower? Should I just call you Autumn? Oh, they started no daylight savings time next year, Monifa. Thank you for telling us all that. I appreciate that. I remember hearing some talks of that, but I just didn't know when they were going to start it. What do I think about career changes during this time? Autumn, I'm going to go back to you, sweetie pie face, but let me answer this general question. For SM Splight, I'm not sure how to pronounce that last word, but what do I think about career changes during this time? I'm going to be straight up and down for anybody, say it again. Take 2, take 3. For everybody, it's different, SM, to be quite honest with you, because it all depends on what's going on in your chart, right? If you had that eclipse, that new moon eclipse in Scorpio, and this full moon in Taurus that's about to fall either in your 10th house or your 6th house, or possibly your 4th house for that matter, or your 11th house. Yep, 4 houses. The 4th, the 6th, the 11th, and the 10th, I want to say. I skipped the 12th. Start all over. It's only 3 houses. My brain is a little convoluted. Yeah, I had a really good time this weekend. We met with the sisters from Shasta this weekend. That was so fun. And then I met with my other sisters, Big and Hayes. Oh my God, so much laughter. My stomach is hurting. I feel like I did 100 sit-ups. So, okay, 3 houses. Again, SM, whether it's your 10th house, your 6th house, or your 4th house. If any of the eclipses have fell into those houses, yes, it could be time for you to have a career change. Yes, and very, very yes. Yes, and very, very yes. Why? Because the universe is pushing you to do so. So again, if that's what your chart looks like, go on and do that thing. Typically, though, no. When Mars is retrograde in Gemini, you might want to wait before you make any real movements, motions. But when because it's movement, it's motion, it's motivation. When it goes backwards, it's like, wait, hold up for a second until we get clear again. You dig? That's all I want to say about that. Hopefully you understand where I was coming from. I get confused when you say particular sign squares against another. You do? Well, that's probably understood. Why? Because astrology is very, very vast and it can be hella confusing. But let me tell you about aspects, giving you a quick little lesson. Aspects, in my opinion, are like relationships, right? How does this little Sephora little stuff that I need to put on my lips again and re up? How is this in relation to this? If this is the moon, there's a relationship between the moon and this when they are both in two particular signs. Okay? The aspect could be a trine. The relationship could be a trine, which is harmonious. This sign and this planet and this sign is harmonious to this planet and this sign. Or it can be a square when this planet in one sign is not harmonious to this planet and the other sign, and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of different aspects. I'm going to say 6 or 7 off the top of my head. And each relationship means a particular thing. I hope I gave you a little clarity in that. All right, let's go back to autumn. Autumn, you still here with your Virgo sun, your Scorpio moon, and your Virgo rising. That Virgo rising and that Virgo sun helps to keep that Scorpio moon in check. That's for ding dong damn sure. Because a Virgo energy loves to service. It loves to be of service. It loves to be caring because it is caring. I like to say Virgo energy is the nurse of the zodiac. So if you have Virgo sun and you have Virgo rising, you are what you project. Bottom line, point blank, because your rising is how you protect yourself. Your sun sign is who you are. So there's no buffer, so to speak. People get who you really are. However, when they get you twisted, did I wake you up? When they get you twisted and they get you fucked up, and you have to respond from an emotional standpoint, you respond like that Scorpio. You respond with vengefulness. You respond with directness. You respond, and in the Virgo, and you may not want to admit that thing because you want to be nice. You want to be nice out this motherfucker to everybody that come up around you with that Virgo placement. But you know there's a little bit of a in you, a little bit of shanker from your moon perspective. The moon in Scorpio, sometimes I don't like to put a lot of people out like this, but that usually means you had a really interesting and traumatic upbringing, or you and your connection with your mom is pretty traumatic. And that's a karmic thing that you have to get through. You dig what I'm saying? Either through your family or through your mother specifically. Any emotional upheavals that need to happen. Please do your best to be willing, courageous enough to go there, Virgo. It may be hard for you to do that thing because the Virgo says sometimes, I don't see a reason for it. Sometimes Virgo energy, to be quite honest with you, could be a little bit in denial because it's always looking for a reason, rationale. It's always looking for a way in which it can explain any imperfections. You can't explain imperfections. Imperfections is just imperfections. It's imperfect because it ain't perfect. It's imperfect because it ain't God. But sometimes Virgos will get in a space where if I can't describe it, explain it, this sun is driving me crazy. If I can't describe it, explain it, you understand what I mean? Then I'm gonna get in denial about the thing. I'm gonna get in denial about that thing. Be careful with that because the Virgo will get into denial and then the Scorpio has to back it up. You understand? I hope I'm speaking to the person. Autumn is still here. Oh, Rose. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you, sweetie pie face. All right. Anybody else? Mistress Coffee. Let's go there real quick. Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon, Scorpio Rising. Again, with that Scorpio Rise, that's a great little combination there because you got air, you got earth, and you got water. Wonder where the fire is in your particular chart. But that Scorpio Rising allows you to be observant, allows you. I hope that helped you, Autumn. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't like give you a salutation with that piece, and I hope that helped. Who is this I'm talking to now? Mistress Coffee. Goddamn old ass lady. The Sun in Gemini, Taurus Moon, Scorpio Rise. That Scorpio Rise helps you be incredibly observant, always picking out things. The hell's on my lip? Always picking out things and being aware of what's going on around you. That sudden Gemini, however, some never, she's a little tricky. She's not as devoted, as loyal as that Scorpio Rise. So maybe you appear to be very, very loyal, very, very determined. And there's a part of you that is, but that Gemini Sun, she'll fuck a thing off in a minute. I love Gemini energy for its mutability and its ways in which it can understand from an intellectual perspective everyone's lane or different lanes at one time. It's awesome in that way. But again, Gemini is non-committal. It can give two fucks after it gives you its dissertation about 100 different ways to go. It will burn the paper and go, you decide. You do what you want. The emotion, the connection is not as committal as that Scorpio energy is. Does that make sense? So oftentimes you have to watch how you commit to something, how you are determined based on that Scorpio rising and that energy that's pulling it in. And then the Gemini going, you know what? I really don't want this thing. I'm going to throw it out. That kind of feel. You understand what I'm saying? Gemini definitely does keep it light. So that's a nice little balance to that Scorpio energy. The Scorpio keeps you dark and heavy, and dark in the best way, dark in the depths of things, the mystery of things, the surrender of life, right? But at the same time, that Gemini keeps you superficial in the best way. You can go from the depths to the shallow end. You dig what I'm saying? And that Moon in Taurus, if I'm saying it right, that Moon in Taurus, yep, allows you to be calm, cool, and collected. But do yourself a favor, please, and try not to react or respond in punishment. I know y'all heard me say this once or twice before, but Taurus Moon punishes people. And also try your best not to eat your way out of depression, please. That Moon in Taurus can allow you to chomp on things in which you know damn well your hips can't handle. That's all I'm going to say about that thing there. I hope this was helpful to all of y'all. I'm about to jump on off of here because why? It's been an hour and 7 minutes and it's time. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me today. Please, please, please share this information with anybody that you know that will benefit from it, okay? Check out the Eclipse workshop. That's the video right before this particular workshop. I'd appreciate that. And keep you well versed about what's going on and with this eclipse season. Thank you for being here. Please catch the replay if you can. I appreciate that. And have a brilliant week navigating this stream in which we are all going in the same direction. Remember that in the back of your mind, okay? You're not going to be left. Don't be like that little kid that thinks it's going to be the outsider. Everybody's going to leave me if I slow down behind this formation of rocks. You will not. We will see you on the way down, cuz trust and believe. All right? Take care of yourself.